you spent time in Tokyo while working as a biochemist, which you explained earlier. So if you could borrow one element of Japanese culture and bring it to the Western economies, what would you choose and why?
Yeah, that's a great question. And I think the 12 months that I spent in Japan, I learned so much about Japanese culture, which, of course, there are some similarities with Western culture, but I think there are also some very unique traits and some very unique ways of doing business across the board. I think the one that really sticks with me, and I think anyone who's been to Japan, who's been to an izakaya or a restaurant or a cafe or even a supermarket, is almost the obsession with customer service. I was just blown away wherever I was in Japan, and I traveled from the top to the bottom of the country. That it was just so central to how they operated. It's almost a congenital attribute that they have that maybe come from the need to kind of survive, which just seems to be so embedded in everything they do. And I think that's something that, particularly in the West and certainly in some European countries, where the products speak for themselves to a degree that the service element almost becomes redundant. I think there's definitely been a loss in the appreciation of the art of product plus service having to go together to create kind of the ultimate customer experience. And I think that kind of brings us full circle in a way, because one of the things that I think sometimes always lacking in the way that pharmaceutical companies approach the market is that sense of humility. Because the pharmaceutical development process, particularly in the early stages, is so much about innovation, and it's obviously a big buzzword and it's very exciting. But I think sometimes pharma companies maybe lose sight of that customer and how important it is to really think about, like I said before, not just the head but also the heart. And so certainly that part of the Japanese way of being and of doing business is something that pharma companies and Western economies more broadly should think about and take advantage of.